Hey guys, it's me, Alex from Live to Read. Sorry I haven't posted in a while. I've been super busy with my new school. I've finally gone to high school. Yes. Anyways, as today is World Read Aloud Day, I am going to be reading one of my all-time favorite books, just one story in it, because they're chapter-long stories. This is More Naughty Little Sister Stories by Dorothy Edwards. And I cannot tell you how relatable these stories are to my little sister. So anyway, this is My Naughty Little Sister Wins a Prize. A long time ago, when I was a little girl, my naughty little sister, who was smaller than me, had lots of friends. But her favourite friends were the nice coalman, and the nice milkman, and the baker with a poor bad leg, and the window cleaner man, and her very, very favourite friend was called Mr. Blakey. And he had a shoe mending shop and a rather cross, roary voice. Now, one day, everyone where we lived became very excited because they had heard that the town was going to have a grand carnival. Everybody talked and talked about the carnival because the town had never had a carnival before, and there were pictures of funny clowns with writing underneath in all the shop windows and stuck up on all the fences. The clown was to show how jolly and funny the grand carnival was going to be, and the writing was to tell about all the nice things that would be happening when carnival day came. My little sister liked the clown picture very much, and because she wasn't old enough to read, she asked our mother to tell her what the writing was about, and she asked questions and questions. My mother told her that all the shops would be shut and there would be swings and roundabouts in the park and a band. My little sister asked me more questions and questions. And my father told her that there would be pony rides and toe dancing and fireworks and a flower show. But my little sister still asked questions until at last our mother and father said, "You must wait and see for yourself when carnival day comes." Well, now, there was one thing about the grand carnival that my little sister liked to hear best of all, and that was the grand procession and fancy dress parade. Do you know what that means? It means that lots of people dress up in beautiful clothes or funny clothes, and they go through all the streets of the town so that everyone can see them. Most of the people walk, and some ride in cars or on lorries and bicycles. And the people who look the most beautiful or the funniest win prizes. Do you know why my little sister was so interested in the grand procession and fancy dress parade? It was because all her special friends were going to be in it. When the nice coalman came, he told my naughty little sister that he was going to wash down the coal cart and put lovely red ribbons on his horse, and that all the infant school children were going to ride with him. He said that the infant school children were going to be dressed up as fairies and pixies. The nice coalman said that he wasn't going to be a fairy or a pixie, that he was going to wear his Sunday best hat. So, of course, my little sister wanted to see him very much. The nice milkman said that he was going to have lots of flags on his cart and that all the pretty ladies from the dairy shop were going to be dressed up to look like milkmaids and walk beside it with milking pails. The milkman said that he was going to be dressed up too. When my little sister asked the milkman what he was going to be dressed up as, the milkman said, just you wait and see. I'll be very fancy, I promise you." That sounded so exciting that my little sister wanted to see him very much indeed. The baker said that he was going to leave his cart at home because he was going to march with his medals up with the other old soldiers. That did sound grand. March with his medals up. My little sister could hardly wait to see the nice baker marching with his poor bad leg along with all the other old soldiers, and she told the nice baker that she would keep a very special lookout for him. I have a hair in my mouth. When the window cleaner man came, he said he was going to dress his barrow up with roses and roses, and that his little niece was going to be dressed as a rose fairy on top. Didn't that sound pretty? My little sister thought it did, and she said, "I wish the grand carnival day would hurry up." My little sister was so pleased and so excited about the carnival that she went in to see her dear friend Mr. Blakey at the shoe mending shop to see what he was going to dress up as. But Mr. Blakey said that he was too old for dressing up and being a poppy show. He said that if everyone dressed up and walked in the grand procession, there wouldn't be anyone to watch it, and then there would be no reason for dressing up at all. Mr. Blakey said that he was going to be a spectator. My little sister did not know what spectator meant, so Mr. Blakey said it meant someone who looked on. So my little sister said, I will be a spectator too, and Mother will be a spectator, and Father would be a spectator, and my big sister will be a spectator. And she was very pleased indeed. But my naughty little sister wasn't a spectator. No, she was something else. This is what happened. The day before the Grand Carnival Day, the window cleaner man came to our house. He didn't bring his barrow. He came on a bicycle and looked very worried. The window cleaner man told my mother that his little niece was not a well girl and that she had to stay in bed for a few days. He said she wouldn't be able to be the Rose Fairy on his barrow after all, and he asked my mother if she would let my little sister ride on his barrow instead. He said that my little sister was just the same size as his little niece, so that the Rose Fairy frock would fit her nicely. Wasn't that a lovely idea? It was very sad about the poor little not well niece, wasn't it? But it was lovely for my naughty little sister. My little sister said, Please let me, please, please do. My mother said, I don't know, you do get in such dreadful mischief. But the window cleaner man said, She can't come to any harm on the barrow. And my little sister said, I will be good. I will be very, very good. I promise. So at last my mother said, Well, if it's a fine day tomorrow, she may go. The window cleaner man and my little sister were both very pleased when our mother said this. And they were more pleased still the next morning when they saw the bright sunshine and knew it was going to be a fine day. So my little sister was dressed up in the beautiful Rose Fairy dress that the poor little ill niece had been going to wear, and it was a perfect fit. The Rose Fairy dress was pink and sticking out, and it had dear little green wings, just like leaves. When my little sister was dressed, she ran through her own little gate in the back garden to see Mr. and Mrs. Coco Jones, who lived next door, to show them how smart she was. And Mrs. Coco said that she looked just like a real fairy. My naughty little sister was so pleased that she danced a special little made-up dance for them. She would have danced for a long time, only my mother called, Hurry up, or the parade will start without you. So my little sister went off with my mother through the town to the place that the procession was to start from, and everyone stared as they went by to see a very pretty Rose Fairy in the street. And my little sister held tight to Mother's hand and looked pleased and smiley. She was a proud girl. She was prouder still when she saw the window cleaning barrow, because it looked so beautiful. It was covered with so many beautiful roses that you couldn't see it was a barrow at all. And there was a dear little chair made of roses for my little sister to sit on, and a sunshade of rose petals for her to hold. They weren't real roses, of course, they were made of paper, but they looked very real. I thought you would be wondering about the prickles if I didn't explain this. The window cleaner man had a smart white coat on, and a new straw hat with a rose in his buttonhole, and he was very glad to see how pretty my sister looked. You are a credit to your family, he said to her, and lifted her up very carefully into the little chair. And our mother spread out her sticking out skirt and tidied her wings and made her look really lovely. While she was waiting for the parade to start, she looked at all the other fancy-dressed people and saw they were all very lovely too. She saw her friend the coalman with his cart. He looked very clean and nice, not a bit coaly today. And his cart had lots of tree branches tied all over it, and all the infant school children were in the cart, laughing and shouting and waving their fairy wands. The coalman didn't see my little sister because he was walking along beside the horse, but she saw him and his Sunday best hat too. My little sister saw her friend the milkman as well, although he looked so funny she hardly knew him. But she knew his cart, and she knew the young ladies from the shop, even though they were all dressed up as milkmaids. The milkman had a tall black hat like a chimney pot, and his nose was painted red, and he looked a little bit like the clown on the Grand Carnival pictures. The milkman saw my little sister and he waved to her. But my little sister didn't wave back. She sat still and quiet because she wanted to be good today. She didn't see the baker because all the old soldiers were walking at the front of the parade behind the band. But she saw lots of other old soldiers with their medals up, and they looked so smart and nice, and their medals were so shiny that she knew the poor bad-leg baker must be looking very grand indeed. Then the band began to play, and the procession started. The window cleaner man said, "Ups-a-daisy," and he took the handles of his barrow that you couldn't see for the roses, and off they went, and everyone saw my pretty little rose fairy sister with her dress spread out nicely, and her leafy little wings sticking up quite straight, looking as good as gold. Mr. Blakey hadn't known that my sister was going to be in the procession, and he was surprised when he saw her go by. He waved and said, "Bravo! Hooray!" until my little sister saw him. When she did, she waved to him and blew him a little kiss, and then she sat good and still again while the window cleaner man pushed and pushed. There's a cute little drawing here of the naughty little sister. And what do you think? When the grand procession and fancy dress parade was over, the window cleaner man got a first prize for his beautiful rose barrow, and my little sister was given a special prize for looking so beautiful and being good. The window cleaner man had a little wooden clock for his prize, and my little sister had a baby doll with shutting eyes and a long white dress. The window cleaner man said that my little sister had been a thoroughly good child, and when my little sister thanked him for taking her, he said that it was a treat to have her with him. Then she did a kind, generous thing. She did it all her own self, without anyone telling her to. My little sister remembered that poor, ill little niece who couldn't wear the nice dress or go to the parade, so she gave the shutting-eye doll to the window cleaner man and asked him to give it to his poor, ill niece who couldn't be in the procession. Wasn't that nice of her? My little sister said that she was very sorry about the ill little niece, that she was very glad all the same to have been in the grand procession. The window cleaner man said that next time there was a carnival, he would put 2 little chairs in his barrow, and then my little sister and his little niece could be fairies together. And that is it. I hope you enjoyed the story. Happy Read Aloud Day. See you later, alligators.